Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Refactoring Bitcoin. In the previous video, we have learned that the entry point for CTest is a file called CTest file. And we also learned how to control the generation of that file from a CMake lists.txt file when we generate a build system for a project. Okay, and we also learned that we can write custom contents to such a CTest test file and then execute CTest. But the problem obviously is that if we now rerun CMake, all those changes will be overwritten. So the question is, how can we control from a CMake project what contents will be written to the CTest test file? How can we extend that with custom content? So in CMake, there is the only way to do that is by using the directory property called test include files. We see here an example how this is used. We can have a script .cmake.in, which is configured here, and then we set the directory property, the test include files property, where we just add some scripts, right? The one that is generated here in the binary directory and a custom file that is in the source file and some other directory. And now you can imagine if you go back to the source code, what we could do is use this content here and put this in a script, and we rerun. So we run configure file to replace the this path here with the absolute path and with the output file of a target, and then we add the script to the test include files property. And this is how we can inject custom logic to the CTest test file. And this, of course, then can be wrapped into a custom command with an easy interface. This is exactly what is already provided by CMake for the Google testing framework. So let's have a look here. And this one is called, the function is called discover tests. Discover tests, search for that. And we see here, yeah, it's actually in the Google test module, there's a command called GTest discover tests. And you see the first argument to the command is just the target, and all the other arguments are optional. So I will show an example how this will work. And the only thing that I want to highlight here, that it provides two discovery modes. The one is post-build. This means that the parsing will be executed directly after the executable has been built. And the other one is pre-test, which means the parsing will happen in the directly before executing the tests, the same way as we used in our custom logic. So, and therefore, this is also what we want to show now how this works. So we copy this code here. We go back to the project into the CMake list.txt file. And here where we include Google test, this is directly where we want to execute that function here. So the target will be GTest. And we ignore all those arguments here for now. We only want to say, we want to set the discovery mode to pre-test. Okay, and we delete all that other stuff here. Okay, now we want to see what happens if we execute that. So we go to the build directory, that was correct, and we rerun CMake. And now we see what changed in the generated file here. We see the only thing that it contains is a single include statement, because internally the GTest discover tests command, of course, sets this directory property. So this file here will be included, which is the include file. It's also generated here. And we see lots of custom logic. What this does, so it uses a cache, right? So if the executable is built and this other file exists here, so if this file does not exist, it will execute this gtest discover tests impl command, which will produce a file which is then included here. So let's see what happens if we run the test. Again, go to the build directory. First we need to build. Okay, it was already built. Now we run CTest, and you see it parses all this information, and then those two tests here fail. We could actually delete the second one. We only need 2 examples. Anyway, so you see here that running test actually produced this test file here, which contains the invocation to add test. Okay, three of them. So this is how test discovery works for the Google testing framework. This command here, GTest discover test, is provided with CMake in this Google test module, but there are copies of that module outside of CMake. So for example, for the Catch2 testing framework, it provides CMake integration, and we see here, if you scroll down, yeah, you see that Catch2 provides a command called catch discover tests. Okay, and you see here the arguments that are supported are very similar to those of the Google test, of the GTest discover tests. Then the doctest framework, it's also a nice framework, testing framework for C++. This one here provides the command doctest discover tests. A little less arguments are supported, and there's also for Python, there's pytest-cmake that allows you to find a package, find pytest like this with find package, and this also provides a test discovery command called pytest discover tests. Okay, and all those modules here, like all the doctest discover tests and catch discover tests, all those are copies of the CMake module that is provided with CMake directly. But of course, the development, as you can imagine, they have diverged. So they have been arced off at different stages of the evolution of the Google test, GTest discover tests, and therefore it supports different arguments. All right, the doc test discovery does not provide the selection of multiple ways of test discovery. Right, the multiple modes here. Catch provides the post-build and the pre-test modes, because there have been, the development has diverged. And this is exactly what I figured out as the problem. What I wanted to provide is basically a plumbing command that is shipped with CMake, which should not be used directly by clients, but is something that could be used by testing frameworks internally, so that testing frameworks can put their own porcelain command on top of that, but all use the built-in discover tests command that is shipped with CMake, and therefore I implemented this. Okay, but this was test discovery with Google Test, and let's see what's next, what we show in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.